Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome to another video. And I just got back from a Fathom Events screening of a little movie called Resident Evil Vendetta. Yeah, this time the evil has a vendetta. I'm scared. I'm shaking in my boots. This, of course, is the third animated Resident Evil movie. The first one being, the second one being, and the third one being this one. And I was a little excited, not excited, but I was interested. I was, because I actually did like, I know what they're called, Degeneration, and I did like Damnation. I like both of them. But I was a little pissed because, you know, you had Degeneration and you had Damnation. This one didn't have a D in it. Now it's a V? DV? I guess it's close. You know, it's close enough. All joking aside, I was a little skeptical only because, I mean, it's a video game movie. They don't have the best track record. Even with CG animated video game movies, you still don't have the best track record. Sure, the other two Resident Evil CG movies aren't bad. They're fun for the most part. I mean, they're corny as hell, which fits with Resident Evil, but they're not, you know, high caliber stuff. So I wasn't expecting that from this, so I went in with pretty low expectations. Vendetta is a movie that should not be in theaters. I mean, it really isn't. It's a Fathom event, so it's not technically in theaters. Like, it's not coming out wide or limited release. It's like certain theaters here and there are having one or two screenings one day of the week. So it's really not in theaters. It's just a special thing. But it should not be in theaters. I'm going to tell you right here, this movie, while enjoyable, it is enjoyable. I'm going to say that right here. It's a terrible, terrible movie. It's horrible. Even when it comes to the CG, the animation of the movie, it is not what you come to expect from something like this. An animated movie nowadays, especially one that's trying to look realistic with its characters and stuff, and hell, even when they're not, like stuff like Moana and stuff, like that stuff just looks gorgeous. But when it comes to like realistic looking characters, like the last Final Fantasy movie that came out, which didn't even go to theaters, I think it had like a Fathom Events thing too, that looked like it could have been in theaters. It looked beautiful. All the characters, even the hair and stuff, all that stuff was great. Here, there is a lot of herky-jerky animations, some really weird effects, like explosions don't look really all that great, like fire effects look strange. It's just, nothing looks terrible, it just looks odd. It looks like something that you would see in a CG cutscene for a video game from like 2010, you know, or maybe even like the Resident Evil 6 game that came out. But even that, I would say the CG cutscenes for that, or you know, the in-game cutscenes, whatever they were, looked maybe a little bit better than this. I don't know, here it just looks odd. Some of the animations, just the way they move is just weird. Some of the texturing, like even the environments, a lot of drab looking environments. The city, when you see shots of the city, it's all generic looking. There's nothing too revolutionary about the look of this movie. Not that they were going for that, but if you have nothing else really, you don't have really a great story, you don't have great characters, you don't have a great screenplay, then at least make us go, wow, look how good the CG is. And they don't really do that here. There's not a lot of really wow moments with the CG. There's a lot of slow motion where you could tell they were like really impressed with themselves. Like, yeah, look at this bike. This bike looks awesome, right? It's like slow motion. Like, look how cool it is. Look at the dog. Look at Zombie Dog. There he is. Remember those? I'm like, yeah, they look good. I guess, you know, for a video game from 2010, I guess they look good, but they don't look amazing here. Okay, so CG animation right there makes me go, okay, this shouldn't be in theaters. This should be on your big screen at home, because everybody has one of those. If you don't, what's wrong with you? Were you poor? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. And I know I'm harping a lot on the CG. I'm not talking about anything else, but everything else is just generic Resident Evil stuff. Like, guess what? There's a guy, and guess what? He wants to make zombies into bioweapons. Guess what happens at the end? The guy turns into a giant freaking monster that looks like Tyrant or any of these other freaking Resident Evil monsters that have been coming out. It looks generic. It is generic. The only thing that's different about this one than the other movies and even the other games is that obviously whoever made this movie and the people that, you know, did the animation and mocap and all that stuff obviously really liked John Wick, because whenever someone gets into a fist fight, it is straight up like John Wick stuff. Like, people are using their guns and like gun fu and stuff. It looks just like John Wick whenever someone tries to fight each other. Someone obviously saw John Wick and they were like, Oh yeah, yeah, that's nice. I'm gonna make Leon do that. Even in this movie, Leon has like a kind of like a mustache, beard thing, kind of like John Wick has. Also, he has like the slicked back hair, which I know Leon always had that kind of hair, but here it looks more slicked back, kind of like John Wick. And every time he fights, of course, he's doing like whoo, whoo, bam, 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 bam. He's doing this. Oh, what, bam, 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 bam. He's flipping around, he's contorting, he's popping and locking. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what is it? This is Breaking 2? Like, not saying that is a bad thing, because I thought the action was easily the highlight of this movie. The characters are lame as hell. I mean, sure, if you like Chris Redfield, if you like Leon S. Kennedy, if you like Rebecca Chambers and couldn't wait until she came back into the series, you'll like them. They're the same characters. They're as dry as they usually are, especially Chris, who's just the soldier man. There's a couple of hilarious scenes with those characters. Not hilarious intentional, but unintentional. But besides that, there's not really much here. You don't really get too much character development. Leon is more of the sidekick, the comedic sidekick in this one. So if you were expecting him to be like the main character like he was in the last two movies, no, he ain't that. He doesn't even show up. He shows up in the beginning, but he doesn't show up for another like 30, 40 minutes. So you have a little wait until you get back to Leon. And when Leon's there, I mean, I like Leon. Don't get me wrong. I love Resident Evil 4, and I think he's a likable character for the most part. But you don't really get much from him. But you do get a lot of action from him, and you get a lot of action in this movie in general. And when it comes to the action, even though it does look a little awkward with the animations, especially the way how quick they're moving and stuff, I'm like, damn. I mean, we just did Resident Evil 7, which brought it back to, not that it's realistic, but you know, it brought it back down to earth a little bit, besides every human blowing stuff up and jumping out of windows and stuff. And now we're back to here where Leon's freaking killing 20 zombies in a row. Remember in the first two games where it was like, oh my god, there's like 2 or 3 zombies, I'm fucked. In this game, or in this movie, Leon just murders about 20 of them like it's fucking nothing. And also, his pistol never runs out of bullets. You never see him really like reload once. And he just murders everybody, which is fun to watch. Again, the action is fun to watch. So overall, like, I really have nothing else to say. The freaking story is just exactly what you expect. There's a bad guy. Oh, he's pissed at people. He wants to turn people into zombies. This exact same shit we've seen in Resident Evil about 45 fucking times. I'm not even talking about the movies. Shit, the live action movies is that too. But the CG movies, the fucking the games, I don't know, I bet the Game Boy game's exactly like that too. I bet every Resident Evil game has some guy and he's evil and he puts his hands behind his back and looks as things are getting fucked up in the world, like, yes, I'm evil. I'm evil. I have a scar on my face. Can't you tell? I'm evil. Like that. It's just that, you know. It's generic. So overall, I don't really have much else to say about this because there's really not much else to say. It's a fun movie, but it's not good. You know, writing is terrible. The acting, for the most part, is alright, but it's not anything to write home about. Yeah, I don't really have nothing else to say. The action's fun, and the CG is, you know, not terrible, but you know, it's not theater quality. It's not even really 2017 quality either. I recommend it if you like the last two. It's fun. Watch it with friends. There you go. I give it a 22 out of 40. There you go. Thank you. Until next time. Goodbye.